Hello, and welcome to the sales training course on Uipath apps. I'm Palak Karakia from Uipath's product management team, and I'll be giving you a quick walkthrough of Uipath apps. After taking this training, you will understand the capabilities offered by Uipath apps and the value they bring to the customer. You'll be able to identify the best accounts and opportunities to sell apps to, articulate the unique value proposition of apps, and be able to quickly find the various resources available for apps. Organizations wanting to digitally transform must continuously adapt to the changing business. And IT plays a crucial role in this digital transformation journey, both in the development of new applications, as well as automation of existing applications and processes. Uipath platform has been helping enterprises with automating everything from front office to back office. But imagine now if we can help enterprises solve their next biggest challenge of meeting the increased demand of software applications and adoption of automation. IDC posits that by 2023, over 500 million digital apps and services will be developed and deployed using cloud-native approaches, the same number of apps developed in the last 40 years. Uipath is on the forefront of this wave and will truly accelerate digital transformation. With that, I introduce Uipath Apps, the industry's first automation-powered low-code application platform. Apps is a low-code, web-based drag-and-drop business application platform that enables you to build and deploy enterprise-grade applications that deliver rich and engaging end-user experiences. With this platform, you can create tailor-made applications for your businesses. It lets you aggregate data in real time from multiple systems and publish the data to various systems, including legacy ones, through the use of robots. Apps will be available on cloud to start. There are two main components of apps: the App Studio, which offers a designer experience to support rapid app creation, and the end-user experience of running the applications. Let's see how you can compose an app quickly without writing any code and connect it to an automation. I'll show you how to build an app that a bank teller can use to input 2 or 3 variables like cash received, checks received, etc. And once that information is submitted through the application, the automation is triggered. It will then interact with the backend, enter that information, and retrieve the transaction ID and return it back to the teller. Let's start by clicking on the Create New button. Here, I will enter the name of the application. Let's call it Teller App. And hit Create. This takes me to App Studio. This, in the middle here, is the canvas where we build the app and drag and drop different controls into. Let's start by adding a few controls. We click on this Add Control button, and we'll keep this panel open. You'll see we have several different controls, including various input controls, display controls like images and lists, containers, and icons. I'll start by dragging an image onto my page. I will add a header, and I will add a few labels and text boxes. So let's start by first adding a label, a text box, one more label, and let's make this a little bit bigger, a text box, and then we'll add a button so that we can run the automation. And then finally, we'll add a couple more labels just so that we can retrieve our transaction ID. Now at this point, my form is created, so I'll close this panel and go ahead and edit every single one of these fields. So we'll start by uploading an image. I can do that by clicking on the image right there. And then you'll notice that the properties pane for that image opens. Here I can bind it to an image. I click that plus sign right there and upload this Reboot Work logo. You'll notice that's been uploaded, so I can bind it to that field, and there you go. The image appears on top. Now next, let's go update the header, and we'll call it Teller App. You can go to the Style tab and click that Center button. Now we could also choose to center all of these controls on the page. You can do that by clicking the entire panel and that Center button. So it centers everything, making the app look a lot nicer. Now at this point, let me go update all the other properties. So for label, we'll go and call it Cash In. This is check amount. And the button, we'll call it simply submit. And then this label will say transaction ID. And this one we'll just leave blank because we want to bind that to the output of the process that runs. Now at this point, the framework of my application is ready. I can style these various controls on the page. So I can navigate to style and I can change that button from blue to, let's say, gray because I kind of like that color more. You can also control the margins, the sizes of the buttons, and so on. And you can control the size of the page by navigating or making it larger or smaller. Now at this point, my application is ready. The last thing remaining to do is to add the process. For that, I will click this plus button over here and add a new process. I can connect to an orchestrator in the cloud, or I can connect to my on-premise orchestrator. We'll click on this demo orchestrator in the cloud and hit next. And here, you'll see my automation for WUI. That's the one I'll be using. It accepts 3 fields: cash in, on-us check, and non-on-us check, and it outputs an account ID and a transaction ID. So we select this process, and as you can see, it's been added to the tool. You can see the list of input parameters here, output parameters here. Now, let's go back to our main page and bind each of these fields to the input and output fields. So here, I'll take that text box. We'll go back to general and bind it to that process, cash in. The next one, we'll set the value binding to on-us check. The transaction ID, which is that next label that we have here, we'll bind it to the transaction ID that's returned from our automation run. And then finally, we will go ahead and trigger the automation when this submit button is clicked. So for that, you go to events, click create a new rule. Here there's lots of options. You can do complex conditions, you can open web pages, show messages, and so on, or even change values of various variables. I'm just going to simply start the process, and here I'll start WUI. Now, once this process is started, I also want to let the users know that something is happening. So I'll start by saying here, show hide a spinner, and we want to show a simple message that says running process. Now, once this process is completed, I want that spinner to go away. So we'll just go ahead and hide that spinner. Now at this point, my entire application is ready. So I can simply go here and either publish it so it's available to everybody, or I can preview it, which behaves in exactly the same way as publish. It just runs it immediately for me. You'll see that the app renders. I can enter some information about the cash that I'm going to submit. I can enter the check amount and hit submit. As soon as I do that, you'll notice that the automation is running, and that spinner tells you that the process is running. Now that the process is done running, the spinner disappears, and you can see that the transaction ID was populated. What you saw was a simple app specific to the needs of the teller, but you can build significantly more complex applications like a contact center agent console, where data gets populated and published to and from various business applications with the help of multiple attended and unattended automations. Here is one such example. I will run this Uipath Banker App, and when it loads, you'll notice that it pops open a little message telling me that I have an incoming call. While I'm confirming this call and accepting it, the app is already loading data here in the background. On the right, you can see my Uipath Assistant that ran the automation that populated this data. So now, as soon as I accept this call, everything I need to know about the customer is populated and available to me in this single location. From here, I can look at their contact information, case history, look at all the products and services they offer, as well as activity history. Then let's say the customer is calling about an inquiry. I can click on this day-to-day savings account and click on that inquiry button, which quickly pulls up all of the customer transactions that have happened. Now at this point, I can click on this particular check and it automatically opens a link to that check. And so I can see the image populated in here as well. I can select one or multiple transactions and reverse them, making it really easy for me to interact with my systems. Now, all of this data is coming from 6 different systems. But when you're an agent, you no longer need to know that. You can just work with one common application. At this point, I can be done. And you'll notice a couple of other things. We have a set of recommended actions, and we also have offers and opportunities. So here, for example, I can offer the customer a new rewards Visa card. And as soon as I click on that button, it pops open an application form with all of the details already filled out. I can hit submit, and as soon as I do that, the system asks me to read out a disclaimer to the customer, which once I've read it, I can confirm that I've read it and hit done. So as you can see, these complex applications minimize the amount of time that the agents are spending interacting with systems and instead diverts that time to providing the best customer service. Now, this is only one example of a contact center agent console. You can do this across any industry, including human resources. You could do this with the telecommunications. You can build a bank teller dashboard and many, many more. In the automation lifecycle, apps fit into the engage phase. The App Studio can be part of the build phase as well. You all know of our vision of a robot for every person. The Uipath Assistant has been helping bring this vision to life by helping business users easily run attended automation. With the addition of apps, we can provide even more power to all employees by enabling them to use, engage with, and benefit from automation in their day-to-day work. The Assistant is available on your desktop to launch attended bots and carry out tasks to help with individual productivity. The Assistant can be personalized by giving it a name, customizing the interface, as well as setting up the user's own schedules. Either the employee or COE can add automations to the Assistant. Apps, on the other hand, can run both attended and unattended automations in any combination. It's available across various platforms like Windows, Mac, and Linux, and can even be accessed from mobile devices. Apps offers a guided experience for a predictable process or task worker and is personalized to each team. Apps is deployed by the COE. Apps and Assistant together help democratize RPA and offer a rich, easy-to-use experience and strong built-in governance, helping every automation user to improve their productivity on a daily basis. Apps will also soon be integrated with Assistant and can be accessed from Assistant. Here are a couple of scenarios that show how an automation user uses both apps and Assistant to run different automations to improve their productivity. First, consider a sales professional who accesses automations on the go via apps built by the COE to generate a sales quote, and when at his desktop, uses the Assistant to help with daily tasks such as filing expense reports, managing calendar, processing paperwork, etc. Similarly, a contact center lead leverages apps to get a 360 view of the customer to support customer calls, but uses Assistant to run a process to generate her team's timesheet report and also get progress and performance reports. Another common question that arises is, why do we need apps when we already have forms? Here are some of the reasons how apps differ from forms based on the different criteria, including availability, process dependence, number of pages, formatting, accessibility, and design capability. A detailed analysis of apps versus forms can be found at the link mentioned below. Apart from providing a rich user interface for your automations, how does Uipath Apps differ from other low-code application platforms available in the market today? Well, Apps is powered by RPA. That is, most of the low-code solutions connect via APIs to run applications. But in the case of Uipath Apps, you can work with any of our existing applications, even if they don't have APIs. Because Uipath Apps connects with our RPA platform, which in turn can access and work across any system and application. So you can build apps that interact with both attended and unattended robots and connect to any system, whether it has UI automation or Citrix or VDI and so on. Apps can also connect to multiple automations simultaneously. Now let's talk about who needs apps. Apps is needed across any enterprise, across all industries that plan to empower their employees with automation. Any organization that's looking to operationalize RPA or increase adoption of RPA through a delightful interaction with automation will benefit from apps. Then we have personas like the contact center agents trying to solve customer issues without having to learn various back-end processes and applications. They would need apps. Business users who want a single interface with their data to work from and constantly switch between applications will need apps. Of course, we have the COEs that plan to operationalize RPA through organization-wide automation deployment, and they would definitely need apps. Through faster deployment, wide-scale adoption of automation, and faster ROI, the usage of apps leads to acceleration of growth and operational efficiency in the organizations. Apps improves the employee experience immensely by offering a rich user experience, increased productivity and satisfaction, and increases employee retention. Here are a few scenarios that talk about when apps would be required. For example, processes being used by multiple employees that need to engage better with their application or with their automation. Users who need to operate smoothly across multiple devices, the need for powerful end-user experiences that can be developed quickly, and visualization of data from automation or a 360-degree view of the automation as in the contact center. There are several key differentiators for UiPath. First, you can drive automation adoption more broadly by creating elegant interfaces for automations using UiPath apps. You can scale your automation program by enabling users to engage with multiple automations, both attended and unattended, simultaneously with a single tool. Composable apps allow you to combine existing business apps with RPA to make automations easily accessible. The business can seamlessly collaborate with IT to deliver a customized app very quickly. Apps also allows you to achieve a rapid time to value by providing the ability to go live quickly using a drag and drop design experience, all of that enabling faster ROI.
Thank you for completing this course. For more information, please bookmark our partner portal, your single place to go for partner news, product information, sales positioning, and support materials. Our partners are a very important part of our business, and we greatly appreciate if you take a moment to complete the following feedback survey and share your input into how we can continue to improve our partner training and enablement program. Thank you.